And I don't know if you ever reach the point of healing where you stop having the triggers, but now when I have the triggers, I don't feel long.
Okay.
I feel like 50,000 people have walked through this story with me. And I even know their names because I've, signed books to them. And so that's been one of really healing things. Not to mention just finding out how common it is to go from high control or traumatic childhood into military and like that kind of journey. I found so many other people.
We had lunch today. You talking about your entrepreneur ecosystem. Can you explain how you build out your entrepreneur ecosystem?
Yeah. So first of all, I think, I always call it like, okay, this is another in my empire, or like every new product or every new thing that I turn about monetizing. So I am a, content creator. I full-time make all of my money making content and selling books. And so one of the things that I have been doing, to me, is really ecosystems. Like I'm with this next book I'm publishing as an indie book, I'm building out my own process so that I can find other people like me who have a story and pull them into my ecosystem and be like, here's a publisher, here's an editor, you need a co-writer, here's one of those. I am the sales channel, because that has been the other thing that I found. It's like, well, I'm really good at some books, and once they've read my book, they want other books like that. So I've started to pull other people's books into my ecosystem to also sell my channels. My third step, which I'm not yet at, is going to be investing in creating other people's books. And then I just have this whole part of the ecosystem that is also handcrafted products or art or like all of the different things that I've done along my journey that I'm able to turn around and monetize. And because, I always say, because nobody knows where my power comes from, they can't cancel it. Because it's like, I'm launching this next book and it's doing pretty well so far, The Culting of America, but even if it totally flopped, I make enough money just selling uncultured and doing content on the internet that my business is going to be fine,
So how do you decide like when to like start making a product and when do you stop? When you just thought, okay, I've had this product for a certain amount of months, it's not doing anything, like take it down?
I haven't had to do that yet. I've made one investment into a bulk book purchase. I've not been able to sell the way I thought. So I've had one kind of flop, but I'm still, I just bought somebody else's product. That one, I'm going to use it for the most part as like door prizes at my big book parties. Like I'm going to give a bunch of those away, package deals, other things. But it's more about deciding when to turn something in. But for me, it has been more about staggering out the products that I have, because I have so much art and so much ideas.
And you did 6 years or 8 years in the Army?
6.5.
6.5. So here's a question for you. If someone comes to you now and asks about the Army, would you advise them to join the Army or tell them to stay away?
So first of all, that entirely depends on their gender, unfortunately, because of what we have right now. Like, I do not want young women going into the military under this vet bro Pentagon. I think it's horrible and so dangerous. That was even hard to answer before, because I want super strong women to go into the military, and especially as we're just hitting 20% female, which is 20% is the point at which you can start subconsciously influencing what people think about your demographic. So until we hit 20%, we really no chance of getting people to think that women in the military were super competent, amazing soldiers who should be there. And now we do. That being said, in my own life, like joining the Army was the best and the worst decision that I ever made, because it created so much additional trauma for me, but it also gave me everything I have. Like everything good that I have in my life now also stems from my decision
to join
the
here.
military.
Do you think you'll ever be satisfied? Do you think you'll ever turn it off, or you'll always on? Yeah, have you heard this term? Have you heard a term called 10 toes up?
No.
You're gonna walk with your 10 toes up in the grave.
Makes me think of the Hamilton song. I'm gonna be sad.
Do
No, I think I'll always be creating.
you think that's a blessing, or do you think it's a curse, or a combination?
I think it's both.
Sometimes I wish I could just like, stay home, smoke dope, drink bourbon all day long.
There's a book I really like, Sapiens, and in that book he says, "Jumbo brains are a jumbo drain." That is kind of how I feel.
Mhm.
Like I'm always creating. Also, I have migraines.
Yeah, I forgot all your migraine. How are those going? They'll be bad, or
I mean, I get Botox,
yeah.
which is what manages it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, when my eyebrows goes up way higher than the other one, that's just the price they pay for not having the migraine all the time. Can we pause for that?
Yeah.
I'll get my other yarn.
Okay, no worries.
I'm stressed out because I ran out of yarn.
So how many hours a day do you like do right here, the crocheting stuff? Is it only on the TikTok lives? Like it's an all day thing?
I knit for about 8 to 12 hours a day.
Good Lord. Crochet.
I do a lot of that when I'm on camera too.
Like a coping mechanism, so to speak.
Yes. So it's a bunch of things. I think.
Hey, scoot up just a little bit.
Yeah. One of the things is I spent so much time in my childhood in like literal isolation, solitary confinement, basically. And so the idea of being stuck somewhere with nothing to do is like terrifies me. I used to say the worst part of parenting for me is the part where you just sit in a dark room waiting for the child to go to sleep. That was so hard for me. So part of that is just it's like my safety blanket, basically. But once I realized that people really like to watch it, of course, it became kind of a part of my show. I get to write off all of my yarn on my taxes, which is pretty amazing, and all my books.
Nice.
So, but I mean, I have built a business. I've built a multi-six-figure business out of my brain and yarn, which I feel like is pretty cool.
So you're doing guitar now. What's another skill you want to learn that you haven't learned yet?
Ooh, I mean, just like how to write a musical. You know, that's kind of my next thing. Is like, so first of all, writing different kinds of books can be completely different skills. You know, so first I had to learn how to write a memoir. Then I had to learn how to write a research book. Now I'm on a fiction series, and I'm going to do a kids book. And so every bit that I do is new learning. Right now I'm doing guitar. I really want to do pottery. I think that would be very fun at some point. And my husband just got into brewing beer and cider, and I don't necessarily want to learn to do that, but I love like just the culture of tasting and knowing more stuff about that. And like I'm a wino, so I always love like you would never be done learning about wine. So
next part of the question, like what's the skill you're like? There's no way in the world I would ever learn this. Like this, you have nothing. Like you like do whatever. I'm not learning this skill. I have no like desire to learn this.
Oh man. Well, unfortunately, I have to say plants. I've tried all at some point choose death.
So no green thumb.
That has to be my husband. Kind of IT in general. Those are the skills I like to outsource. Really anything to do with operations.
Yeah.
It's actually funny. You and I think had this conversation years ago, and I said, first thing I'm going to do when I'm successful is hire myself a boss.
Yeah.
It's my talent manager now, but she's basically the COO of the Knitting Cult Lady brand because I just want to be Knitting Cult Lady.
Yeah.
I just want to perform and write the books and sell and talk to people and all the behind the scenes stuff. So like both my podcasts, people begged me to start a podcast, and I was like, okay, but all I want to do is show up for the 2 recordings a week. Of course, it took me a year to get there. But that is where I'm at now. And I'm like, I don't want to learn anything about podcast editing. I tried. I hated it.
So I don't know if this would be easy question or hard question for you to ask. Like pretty much all your public out there, all your accomplishments, all that kind of stuff. But what's something you're very proud of that no one knows about? Like your husband knows, your daughter knows, close circle of friends, but most people know about this, but you're very, very proud of it.
What am I very, very proud of? Gee, I talk about everything. I mean, I have a really good relationship with my mom. She's my best friend. She and I have spent a decade deconstructing and supporting each other. I'm really proud that I've been able to go on this whole journey without losing that. My child is a very kind, beautiful human being, and I'm very proud of that. Oh, and it took me 7 years to pinkpill Mr. Knitting Cult Lady. But I turned him into like a rabid feminist. I'm very proud of that too.
Talk about the point of being vulnerable.
Yeah. The hardest part of the book for me to write was the first book was chapter 17. And it seems like a very nothing chapter where I go to college. But it is the chapter where I had to admit to myself and the world that I married a really bad guy, and that's what pulled me into the military.
Mm.
And I literally, like, I can picture this moment. I'm just right back there, and I'm sitting on my big Brazil balcony writing, and I'm like, there's no way around it. I got to explain why I joined the military with all of my other reasoning, and it's like, it still doesn't make sense.
So we actually have Go ahead.
I just had this moment where I was like, either I'm going to make the decision, be 100% vulnerable, so literally just leave it all.
You can't be halfway right.
Right. Or I was like, I'm not going to write this book. And as soon as I made that decision, I knew, I was like, it's a better book. And so many people can relate to being in a toxic relationship. And it really did make the rest of the like, sort of forced vulnerability easier. And that for me was just kind of that decision. And the rest of it is just the balance, right? Like, part of why I make so much money on the internet is because I'm so vulnerable. Is I just show up and I let people see like real everyday stuff about life and the healing and the work. But you have to balance that, you know? So like when I go to a book club, if people have just read my books and I just like lay myself in for them, the next day I feel like I'm under concrete and have to like just give myself time to recover and understand that it is like the emotional vulnerability has a cost, which is why most people don't do it.
Yeah. So we actually have a comment, lady Meryl. So Meryl, she was like either the only Black female YouTube pilot or like the one of the first ones. And her comment is like, I find the conversation interesting, but I want to know what you're crocheting.